crimes, one of the major responsibilities of a good citizen is to report crime to appropriate authorities. To achieve this, it has to be done in the right way. Among the ways of observing and reporting crimes are via telephone. The police have assigned specific phone lines for residents to use when placing distress calls. The following circumstances can result in phone calls to the police. If you are aware that there has been a robbery occurrence elsewhere, the location where unusual movements are noticed, in the vicinity of a mob, the scene of a street brawl between fighters, by sending an email. In addition to calling, crimes can be noticed and reported by emailing the relevant security personnel, who will then take prompt action. Writing an anonymous letter. If someone wants to provide the police with specific information about a crime but is reluctant to reveal his identity for security reasons, he may do so by sending an anonymous letter to them or other security agents. This will give the police a clue to arrest the criminals. Visiting the police station. Sometimes one may deem it necessary to personally see the police to report a crime. For instance, if you're robbed in your house, it is always advisable to report such cases for future references. Other cases like car snatching should be personally reported at the nearest police station instead of writing a letter or making phone calls. Informing media houses. Crimes should be reported by calling media houses such as radio, television stations, or newspaper houses. Social media networks. Crimes could be reported through Facebook, Twitter, and so on. This makes it easier for a good number of people to know about the crime. Aiding arrest. It is essential to aid the arrest of a suspect, and it is an offense to neglect aiding such without any reasonable excuse. Section 201 of the Criminal Code Act provides that any person who, having reasonable notice that he is required to assist any peace officer or member of the police force, is in arresting any person or in preserving peace without reasonable excuse omits to do so, is guilty of a misdemeanor and is liable to imprisonment for 1 year. Jungle justice. Jungle justice, also known as lynching, is the practice of a vengeful crowd or private persons publicly humiliating, killing suspects who, in their eyes, were caught in process of breaking the law. It is an extrajudicial act in which enraged people kill, punish, or summarily execute a suspect, causing them to die or suffer serious physical harm. Jungle justice is illegal in Nigeria. This is because, on one hand, the Constitution provides that any person charged or not yet charged, but basically alleged to have committed an offense, is presumed innocent until is proved guilty by the court of competent jurisdiction. On the other hand, killing a person, inflicting injury on a person, or subjecting any person are offenses punishable by severe penalties. Therefore, it is wrong to administer law into one's hands by punishing any person suspected to have committed an offense or crime. In addition, the Constitution contains clauses protecting each citizen's right to life. According to Section 36, subsection 5 of the Constitution, no one may be purposefully deprived of their life unless it is necessary to carry out a court sentence for a crime for which they have been proven guilty in Nigeria. In this regard, the constitutional clause is extremely clear. Therefore, it is argued that anyone who engages in jungle justice is flagrantly violating the Constitution, because only a court of competent jurisdiction has the authority to find a person guilty and to impose punishment and sentence on that person. Furthermore, the Criminal Justice Act of 2015, specifically Section 8, subsection 1, stipulates that a suspect must receive humane treatment that respects his right to dignity and refrains him from torturing or subjecting him to cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment. Therefore, a suspect retains the constitutionally guaranteed right to his dignity. Such a suspect does not, for the fact that he was alleged to have committed a crime, lose certain rights even as a citizen of Nigeria. Lastly, it can be argued that the law, in its wisdom, has adequately provided for the imposition of certain penalties on an individual found guilty of a crime. Essentially, the law has, to a commendable degree, stipulated appropriate penalties for specific acts, and it will only be right to permit the law to impose these penalties on a convicted person in the appropriate ratio.